Why do presentations fall flat? Why do they die? Why is it that the audience leaves not happy, and at the end of it all, the speaker isn't exactly ecstatic either? Why does that happen? Well, today I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why that might happen. There are a lot of other reasons, but I'll share with you 5. And I have done, practiced, put into action every one of these 5 and had my presentations bomb. I just had them bomb. Oh, you don't want to have them bomb, but anyway, I'm going to share what these 5 are so you don't have your presentations bomb. Hi, everyone. I'm Dorothea Hendriks, your communication specialist in presentation skills and in public speaking. So, what's the first? What's the first criminal act here to have your presentation fall flat? Well, a major one, number one, is no clear message. Not having a clear message. That is a killer. No overarching point that the audience can actually sink their teeth into and then walk out the door using that information. Now, that sounds like a no-brainer having a clear message, but it wasn't a no-brainer for me. I moved from teaching, being an instructor, teaching, into doing workshops. And as an instructor, man, I was really adept at giving my students all kinds of information because they needed it for the exam, and then they needed to pass their exams so they could move on and get their certification. So it was information, information, information. Was I concerned with one clear message? No, I missed the boat on that one. So when it came time to doing presentations, the first couple of times I really bombed before I realized what people need is one thing that they can walk away with, put into practice that will make them better after and when they leave the meeting than before they came in. Help them in their work. So no clear message. That's as a guarantee that you're just going to bomb. Number two, information overload. Again, coming from the classroom, I had so much information. And when I got out into doing workshops, into a work environment, I thought people want information. I didn't realize until a little bit later that people can only absorb so much information, and that includes me, that includes you. We can only absorb so much before we just suffer cognitive overload and we just tune out and turn off. So, information overload. The audience doesn't need to know everything that you know. Number 3, inadequate preparation. Well, pretty well speaks for itself. I know there are some people say that, oh, I never prepare, or I never really do anything. I know all the information. Well, good for you. Good for you. You may want to have second thoughts if you really understood or felt how people actually view your presentations, but that's another story. Here, the idea is really make sure that you speak out loud your presentation, that you do a bit of preparation. And even if you're doing the same information over and over and over again, just refresh, have some key points, some signposts, so that you can make sure that when you do present, you are prepared to stay on track and stay focused on your message. And the next one, number four, going overtime. Woo-hoo! Going overtime. I've done that a few times, much to my detriment, because you get involved in your presentation and it goes back to not being fully prepared, not being able to adjust, be flexible when people ask questions and the questions take too long, or when there's something that happens that you weren't prepared for, or maybe some mechanical glitch, something happening, or fire alarms go off, whatever it is. And so you come back and kind of try to stay on track with your original presentation, which is not taking into account that you will go overtime. Or you're following somebody who's gone longer than they anticipated, and now you're coming in all this information, but you've only got this much time, being able to adapt. Going over time will never endear an audience to you. They love you if you stop early. They love you if you stop on time. They may say it's okay, but they won't love you if you go over. And of course, the fifth one here is no audience engagement, not getting your audience involved. That is a real snooze fest for people with bums in seats when a presenter, a speaker does not get them involved. I think I did this once, but I'm pretty adept with my activities and little mini icebreakers and asking questions and getting people involved as a rule. And so that was probably out of the five that I'm mentioning here. This was probably the one I committed did the least criminal activity on. I engage my audience for the most part, and people love to be engaged. You get them engaged, you get them involved through asking questions, little mini icebreakers, moving things around in the room, and engagement actually heightens retention. Five things that will actually really flatten and sometimes kill your presentation: not being clear on the message. Oh, not being clear on the message, information overload, not being adequately prepared, going over time, and not involving your audience. So what are you to do? What are you to do? In my next presentation, I'll talk about what you can do to get a clear message, hone that message. We'll touch on that, and then we'll touch on each of them in subsequent videos. Until next time, this is Dorothea Hendriks wishing you, oh, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got some good stuff here, good information that can help you. Actually, it helps me too because I review it for myself when I go out to do a workshop, that I can stay on track, be on time, and get those people involved. Hey, until next time, wishing you mountains of success.